All right, we are live again. Welcome back. This is week two of me doing the preview for the NFL and NCAA week ahead. Today I'm joined by current Menominee beat writer at the Eagle Herald and former Marinette legend Stephen Ullman, live from his three-story apartment that he's living in currently. How you doing today, Steve?
Doing well, and I think current Marinette legend might apply.
Yeah, if that's what helps you sleep at night and gets you through, that's fine. But that card has been expired for a few years now, so so we're gonna start out today with the college football lines. A few big games. I think we got four or five ranked matchups this weekend.
Big week.
Big week. Game days at Clemson for the Notre Dame Clemson game. That should be a good one. We're going to start off with West Virginia at Oklahoma. Oklahoma is favored by 7. What are you thinking there?
Well, West Virginia's been a lot better than I think anybody really thought, especially defensively. But they haven't played Oklahoma, and they got to go to Norman. That's going to be – I think even the 7 is going to be a challenge, but how do you see it?
Yeah, I see Oklahoma taking care of this pretty easily. Early game, OU's offense is really good. Baker Mayfield, I think, if they keep winning, we'll start getting some Heisman consideration. West Virginia can score some points, so I could see them possibly covering, but Dana Holgorsen has had trouble beating actual good teams in the Big 12 while he's there. He cleans up on all the games he should, but on the road, I think that Oklahoma takes care of it at -7 as well. We'll go to the next one, the big one.
Wait, you think they're covering?
I think Oklahoma will win by a couple touchdowns, yeah, so they'll cover that 7.
And I'm not so sure.
Okay, so you think it's a close game?
Yeah, I think Oklahoma's going to win in Norman. And this is a big, welcome to October moment for a lot of teams this week.
Yeah.
West Virginia's definitely one of them.
Yeah.
But I think West Virginia is going to keep it within 7.
Okay. I think this is the real first team that they've played. And Oklahoma's played at Knoxville and had a couple other challenges. So I think they're just better than West Virginia. I think you're right, though. I think West Virginia will end up winning 8 or 9 games because they do have a lot of offensive talent. But, yeah, I think Oklahoma takes care of this pretty easily. I think it'll be close maybe, and they'll cover it late. But I think Oklahoma takes care of business. So we'll go Bama at Georgia, kind of a big program game for Georgia, between the hedges, 2:30 CBS game. How do you see this one going?
I'm all in on Bama here.
Oh, God. Oh.
So, all right, tell me why I'm wrong then.
I mean, I said before the year Bama was going to lose 3-4 games because their quarterbacks, all three, how many ever of them they have, they all suck. Cooper Bateman, awful. Coker is terrible. They're going between the hedges. Georgia needs to win this game because Rick's got the whole, can't win the big one, just wins 10 games and loses the games that he really should win. And I think you got Chubb. Sonny Michael is back there. Keith Marshall. You got some playmakers with McKenzie and Malcolm Mitchell. And I think Alabama's defense is overrated. I think Ole Miss showed some flaws in their defense. And they have a lot of good recruits, obviously, but I feel like they're just guys now. They don't have like the playmaker that you're like, oh, this guy's going to get me a pick or this guy can dominate up front. So I think this is lost 2 of the 4 I see for them for sure.
Wow.
Yeah, I see them losing to A&M. I see them losing to LSU. So yeah, I see 4 losses for them this year, and this will be the second one. I think Rick gets the big win that he needs, and this could propel them to a possible undefeated season.
That's bold.
I mean, they play in the SEC.
I think, yeah. Well, no, yeah, that's true. But I think that Bama might be able to just run all over Georgia. Bama's quarterbacks are not good. They might not have to throw a pass.
Really?
Yeah.
Georgia's D's pretty good.
I guess we'll find out Saturday.
I mean,
And Bama's run D is good.
yeah,
The way
yeah,
I see it.
yeah,
Against the Pats, you're right. They're not. I mean, obviously that Ole Miss game was ugly,
yeah,
but the Dogs are going to have to throw. They're going to be in some 37s, 38s, and
yeah,
I guess
yeah. Which,
that's the way I see it.
yeah, and Lambert, I don't know about him. Yeah, that's kind of the only thing that scares
Right.
me is him. But I
And
feel,
if
I mean, they're at home, so I feel like that's, he's in a comfortable situation. But yeah, that's the only thing I'm scared about because they are definitely early on going to stack the box on Chubb and make him
yeah,
throw. So
but like you said, if Chubb can go off and if Georgia can run the ball, there's no way Bama's beating them.
yeah, I agree.
I just don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, I think early on, if Georgia can keep it close early on, which I think they'll be able to, because I think their defense will be able to stop. Because I think they're going to do the same thing to Henry that Alabama's going to do to Chubb, and I think Georgia's defense is underrated. I think they'll show that this week. I think if it's close, I think eventually Georgia will be able to wear down Alabama's D because they just keep coming at you with the run, and their offensive line is pretty good. So I think Georgia wins, and I think they're going to win. They're going to cover the 2. They're favored by 2. I think that they win by a touchdown or 10 points or so. And you think Alabama wins?
I have Alabama outright.
All right, well, we'll see on that. There's the first disagreements kind of on who will win at least. Let's go.
Sure, it won't be the last, Chuck.
No, it won't be for sure. Let's go Ole Miss at Florida down in the Swamp. Florida is plus 7.5. How do you see this one?
I like Ole Miss by a couple touchdowns in this game. I think they're going to cover.
Okay. Yeah, that didn't take long because I disagree on that. I think Ole Miss does win. I'm on the Ole Miss bandwagon as well, but I think Will Grier has looked pretty good these past couple of weeks, at least better than he had. Their defense is legit. Hargraves, the stud corner, I don't know what his situation is. I know he was dealing with the back last week. If he could cover Treadwell, I don't know if he could stop him, but he's about as good as it gets trying to contain him.
Yeah.
So I think that their defense in the Swamp keeps it within a touchdown. So they won't win, but they'll cover the plus 7.5. Any other thoughts on that one?
Well, I just think that like Ole Miss having the buffer week between Bama and this week is big because a lot of times you get a big win like Bama, things can go downhill. But and that, like you said, the Florida defense is going to have to try to cover the Florida offense, and I just don't think they can do it. I have it like 27-13, 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. I'm anticipating like a 17-10 game because I don't know, Vandy hung with Ole Miss last week, and I don't know if that was just Tuscaloosa hangover or Vandy was doing stuff that was giving Ole Miss problems, but I think I think Florida keeps it close. I think it's hard to blow out Florida if they have a decent enough offense where they can put 10, 17 points on the board because your defense is still loaded, I think. So there's another disagreement. So we'll get to the game day game here. Notre Dame at Clemson. Right now it's a pick 'em. Elliot, that's what I got. What do you got?
I had it as a pick 'em too.
Pick 'em too. Okay. So what do you think?
I think the fun thing about this game is that both these teams might be awful. Like we don't know. Like I don't think they both are. I think Notre Dame might be, but we don't know anything about these two.
Yeah, I think Notre Dame is good. I think their quarterback, or lack thereof, despite him playing well so far, will show starting this week and possibly throughout the year. They're talent-wise, they're really good. Their defense is really good. But I think Clemson, and I think this is a big game for Deshaun Watson because he had some Heisman talk. He had a really good year last year going up into before he got hurt. And that Thursday night game against Louisville, he was not very good the other week. He was not very good. And so he's got another crack at a primetime game with everybody watching. So I think this is big for him. I think that they get it done at home, and that leaves, I think, at home to Florida State as their biggest game left on the schedule with that. So I have Clemson. Who do you got?
Yeah, I think Clemson too. And the thing is, like you said, Florida State's the only other real challenge, so we might not know if they're good until like January.
Yeah. And
because the biggest teams that like they played Louisville, obviously, who's a
decent
legitimate team.
Yeah.
And Notre Dame has played Georgia Tech, who got smoked by Duke last week, and that's Notre Dame's big win. So this is like I said, another October first time you get to see
and
what they're really made of.
Whoever wins this game is probably going to jump into the top 5. You would think.
Yeah. That might be a little aggressive, but yeah, right near it.
If it's Notre Dame, they'll be in the top 5.
Wow. Yeah, we don't need to get into all that.
Yeah,
I'm with you. I'm with you though.
Yeah. So we both have Clemson. I think it'll be a good game though. I think Notre Dame's D will keep it close, but that I just don't trust that Kaiser for Notre Dame yet. He looked good, and he obviously made the throw against Virginia. But I mean, the only real game we've seen him play, I guess he played Georgia Tech too, but that was more precise running the ball than him controlling it through the air. And I think that they'll stack the box too and make Kaiser make some throws. So
yeah.
Finally, the last game, and this is kind of a fun one that we're doing this week, the Baylor Texas Tech. We're not doing who wins. We're saying if the over-under of 89.5, the highest over-under I've ever seen in my 2-3 years of following this kind of stuff. Absolute bananas. 89.5.
And I think it's low.
And you think it's low. You think it's going over.
Oh, yeah.
Over.
Baylor's getting to 60, and I don't think Texas Tech will have a problem getting to 30.
So last week it was –
That's what I think.
Last week it was TCU and Texas Tech, and the over-under was – I think it finished at 82.5 when they kicked it off.
Mm-hmm.
And that final was 52-48? Or was it higher? No, it was 55.
No, it was
55-52. Either way,
I'm more confused about it, Chuck. They hit the over hard.
Yeah. Which I don't 89.5. That's so you're guaranteeing one team is going to score 50.
I guarantee Baylor scoring 50.
So like if you're betting the over,
if TCU,
you're guaranteeing someone scoring 50. One of them.
Baylor will. Whether or not Texas Tech does, I don't know. Baylor will score 50 in this game.
Yeah, I think they will too.
I think the biggest thing is will Texas Tech get to 30, or I think they're going to.
I mean, if they got to get to more than 30.
No, because I think Baylor's getting to 60. That's what I'm saying. I do 63-38. 63-38.
Yeah, I think that's definitely in the realm of possibility. Texas Tech's got to just be let down after last week, how that ended. That's where I'm. They had it. True. They had it.
Maybe Baylor will just score all 90.
I mean, I could. I mean, TCU scored 82 on Texas Tech last year. I don't know if Baylor's getting to 82, but oh man, I agree though. It's hard to bet that over, but I think I agree. I think it actually is going to get to the over. But 89.5. What's TCU Baylor going to be? 100?
Well, the thing is, I do think that they have better athletes than Texas Tech on the defensive side, both Baylor and TCU. Like at some point, someone will tackle somebody in that game.
The final in that game last year was like 62-59.
I know. This isn't last year, Chuck.
TCU's defense is worse than last year. They have like one starter back.
Yeah, they held my Gophers to 20.
That's true. Well, that's not saying much. Everybody's holding their Gophers to 20 so far this year. So,
well, that's not true. Kent State held them to 10.
Yeah, there you go. Have they scored past 21 yet? Last week, did they?
Last week the final was like 27-24. So
How painful is it that
that's awesome.
you actually have to watch all 3.5 hours of every Minnesota game because they can't blow anybody out?
Chuck, you have to remember that just because we're not blowing people out, that's still so much of a victory to me. I was at TCF Bank Stadium when North Dakota State beat them. I was there when the University of South Dakota beat them.
That's true.
That was not the Jackrabbits, the Miners or something.
Yeah.
Like that's not even the best team in South Dakota.
No, you're right. You forget how far they were down there for a little bit. You're right.
Yeah.
So I guess,
Yeah.
beating the Toledo.
And I was paying to go to those games.
Yeah. I mean,
actual money.
I can sense the bitterness in your voice. Yeah. So, yeah.
No, hey, two 8-win seasons. This is fantastic.
Yeah.
In a row.
I'd probably pop bottles for wins against Ohio and Akron too. Yeah. I mean, why not? So we'll move on to NFL. That's the college portion. A few topics from this last week of NFL. Going into this week, we're going to start off with Colin Kaepernick and his situation with the 49ers. Obviously, he is facing Green Bay this week. What are your thoughts on what the 49ers should or shouldn't do and where you maybe see this going forward?
Well, yeah, I mean, with a situation like Kaepernick, he's going to be the quarterback, regardless. Like, there's no, should we take him out? Like, that's how it's going to be. And the thing is, like, when they put the muzzle on him, he's been terrible.
Yeah.
I honestly think that the only way to do it is to roll the dice and let him run.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's. I mean, if their objective is to be competitive,
right?
I mean, he's digressed every year since he replaced Alex Smith.
Yeah, and
go ahead.
And I understand that that's a risk. I get it. Like RG3 was broken by the end of his rookie year because they just let him run the ball 15 times a game and get smoked. But it's just as bad if you're having a guy in there that can't throw the football.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
what's the point?
Yeah, it resulted in 2 pick sixes and probably 2 more touchdowns off turnovers.
Right.
Last week.
Exactly.
And I think it says more about how god-awful Blaine Gabbert is that he literally threw 4 picks, and I think he fumbled once, and they played him the entire game. They did not even consider Blaine Gabbert.
Well, he was up near 50 yards there by the end, I think so.
Yeah.
But, I mean, yeah, no.
I said that what the Niners should have done when all this turmoil was going around is they should have traded Kaepernick because they would have gotten something good for him. And a team like the Jets or something, I think the Jets would have been a perfect spot for him.
Yeah.
But they
would be the perfect team to ruin him. You're absolutely right.
Yeah, I mean, he's either going to win 11 games with them and get hyped up about the Jets again, or that would be it for him. I mean, there's no in between.
No, they would destroy him. They would destroy him in 8 games and run him right out of town.
Really? As in because he's so awful, or because they just run him?
I think it'd be a mixture of the two. He'd have a tough couple games. Media would start getting on him. He'd fold, take one hit, get a little beat up. He wouldn't last the whole season.
He's better than the 15 quarterbacks they've had before this.
Oh, absolutely.
If you put him in the right
I agree with that 100%. He's a super talented guy. He's destroyed my Packers throwing the ball and running the ball.
Yeah.
In recent years. Like, I'm not saying he's not good. I'm saying the Jets would kill him.
Yeah, maybe, I guess. But something, I mean, I think this is his last year where I think they can cut him after this year without any money implications. So this could be it for him. So
yeah, I mean, and it was ushering in and out of the read option quarterbacks.
Yeah,
they're already becoming a dying breed, and they were going to be every team was going to have one 3 years ago.
They are a dead breed. There's one person that runs it, and it's Russell Wilson. So,
Yeah.
I mean, RG3.
Well, and just like any other thing with the position, he's just so good at not taking the hits.
Yeah, which saves him.
And it's not like Kaepernick has gotten smoked a bunch of times.
Oh, yeah, too many. The fact he keeps getting
Yeah.
up is kind of impressive, actually.
Yeah, he's a tough guy.
I mean, but eventually it's gonna, it'll rack up. So Kaepernick, that's that. I guess we can go into the lines and we can kind of. Oh, actually, I want to talk about coaches being absolutely moronic in their handling of in-game situations. I'm going to start with Butch Jones go back to college, kind of in the Tennessee game. They're up 20-14. They score a touchdown with 5 minutes or so to go. Instead of going for 2 to go up 14, he kicks the extra point, end up losing 28-27. But they got the ball back down 28-27 with a minute 23 left, ran 4 plays with 2 timeouts, got into field goal range with around 35 seconds, still had those 2 timeouts, had to burn them both because of penalties that were 10-second runoffs, had to kick a 55-yarder instead of a 50-yarder because of one of the penalties to win it, misses the 55-yarder. I mean, it's an abomination. And then Andy Reid did something similar in the Packer game where he kicked an extra point with, I don't know if they were in the fourth quarter yet or if it was mid-third, but they needed to get it to 2 scores because Rodgers probably was going to score every time he got the ball. And he kicked an extra point to keep it at 17 instead of going for 2 and getting it to 16. These guys make millions of dollars to make simple mathematical decisions, and they repeatedly fail to do it, whether it's because they don't know or they don't have a guy that knows. Any other place you mess up like Butch Jones did, you're fired.
For that one game against Florida?
Yes, you're fired.
And I agree that is just it's egregious. And coaches as a whole, as a collective, are like this group of tough men, and they could not have less of a backbone when it comes to going for it on 4th down or going for 2 points.
Yeah, I mean, you look at like Kirk Ferentz at Iowa, repeatedly punts on 4th and 1 from he's done it from the opponent's 32.
That's Big Ten football, baby.
I mean, but literally, I'm saying, say you.
That's Iowa football. The last 5 years has been hand it to a 240-pound white running back until you get just inside your opponent's territory and punt. That's the entire offensive scheme
for the whole Big Ten almost. But
Iowa in particular, Iowa takes it to cartoonish levels.
Yeah. But I'm saying, so say you go to a game that you're covering or whatnot, and you write an article and then you leave out the final score. That's a fireable offense. Or
they wouldn't like that.
Or do you be reprimanded? Or I mean, these guys make millions of dollars, and Butch Jones has done it twice this year. He completely screwed up the Oklahoma game as well.
Yeah.
And he's done it over the past years too. It bothers me. It bothers me how such simplistic decisions. Another one I think over the weekend was, I can't remember what game it was I was watching, but it was 14-6. They missed the extra point. The team was 6, scored a touchdown. Why not go for 2?
Yeah, what's the harm? Are they worried that they're going to end up with a safety and then a field goal and not be able to?
Why would you?
You know what?
14-12. What is 14-13 difference from 14-12?
Oh, you mean the simple subtraction?
Yeah, other than the one, but in football terms.
I understand. Like I said, are you worried about
I don't.
Safeties? Are you worried about what
It blows my mind.
Well, if you kick the extra point and then the other team gets a safety, then you're still down 3.
Field goal, yeah, I suppose. Yeah. If that's on those coaches' charts, yeah. Anyways.
Well, I think that's one area where football still isn't a hyper analytical game. There are obviously advanced metrics and things where you take opponents into consideration and things like that. But that's one area where I think if they just had a couple of legitimately smart people figuring out when you should and when you shouldn't, go for it on fourth down, go for 2 points. I really think that some of these coaches are just not like they have it in their heads. They haven't. Well, they're obviously most of them are educated, but
in
they
these
have it in their
situations,
yeah, exactly. They have it in their heads that like this is what you do, and they just like that one free point is like so enticing to them that they won't risk that automatic point to get an extra point.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
No, I do absolutely know, and you're absolutely right. And I think the good coaches are the ones that adapt.
Yeah.
You know, you see like Chip Kelly did it a lot at Oregon, even like when it's 6-0. You know,
well, and now with the extra points being moved back, Pittsburgh's kicker missed an extra point, and they went for 2 like 5 straight times.
Yeah,
last week.
Yeah, Tomlin said he would do it every time now.
Yeah,
I don't get why all those good offenses don't do that. Why the Packers should do it every time.
McCarthy, you're telling me that you spread them out from the 2-yard line. You give a shotgun snap to Rodgers, and you're not completing that pass.
He's going to do it 80%
4 times out of 5.
80%, yeah, 80% of the time they're going to get it.
Exactly.
But McCarthy's a Stone Age coach, so I just needed to get that out of the way because it's been bothering me a lot over the past few weeks watching.
Yeah, there's nothing more infuriating than, especially if it's your team and they're punting from the 40.
Yeah,
or
Yeah, the punting thing, that's a whole different issue too. The fourth down and ones that's for another day. We'll start picking the games now. We'll start Ravens at the Steelers, the Thursday night game. Ravens -3 on the road. Desperate for a win. What do you got?
That's a little interesting to me, actually, that Pittsburgh is 3-point home dogs. I understand that obviously Michael Vick is starting. I get that. I wouldn't be thrilled about that, but I still think that Pittsburgh is at least covering that 3 at home.
Okay.
Le'Veon Bell's back. It's like, even if it's Michael Vick throwing to Antonio Brown, like that doesn't make Antonio Brown not good.
No, but it probably.
And Baltimore has looked bad.
They've had the lead in the fourth quarter with like 5 minutes left in all 3 games.
Go ahead.
I think Baltimore is gonna win this game, and they're gonna cover the 3. I think they win by a touchdown. They have to win, or their season's over. And Pittsburgh's weak. No Vic. Still no Martavis Bryant. Their defense is very skeptical in the secondary.
Number 1 in the league.
Pittsburgh's?
Yeah, statistically. It's early. But
I mean, they play the Rams offense, which is about as putrid as it gets. So
tell that to the Seahawks.
That probably yeah. Well, yeah, that's an anomaly.
We'll get to your Rams later.
That never happens. But so I got the Ravens covering. You have Pittsburgh covering the +3. So opposite sides there as well. Jets -2 at Miami over in London. What do you like there?
Well, first of all, a game in London is always like it's a little bit of a wild card. And I don't know how to feel about this game. Because if you would have asked me like when the season started, Miami and the Jets, I would have thought, Miami for sure. I thought Miami was going to be good. They signed Sue. Tannehill's got another year, and I keep hearing that he's going to turn into a great quarterback. And I keep thinking that myself, that he's going to turn into like a really good quarterback. And Ryan Fitzpatrick has the Jets at 2-1, and I just don't know how to feel about the entire world at this point.
So you're a Ryan Fitzpatrick hater, sounds like.
He went to Harvard. Did you know that?
Yeah. I mean, it has been said a time or 20,000 that he went to Harvard. I actually think Fitzpatrick's a solid quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, I don't hate him, and he has never been like awful, but I mean, he's never been like one of the guys where it's like he's constantly like you've got to put another guy in there, or he's never not going to get it done.
Like a Josh
I do think he's fine. Yeah, well, right, exactly, and but it's still just, and like I said, in London, who knows? Yeah. I think I might go Miami in this one just because I don't think they're as bad as they've been playing.
Okay. And yeah, it's a hard one. The London thing is wacky things happen in London. So I think Dolphins need to win. I think the Jets. I think the Jets. I think the Dolphins are about to turn into absolute dumpster fire. So
Really?
yeah, I think Philbin has lost any grip that he had, even with this
And
team.
that wasn't much to start with, apparently.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, any grip that he had, and their offense seems to be super predictable. I mean, they're getting just crushed offensively, which is weird with all the playmakers that they signed and acquired. So I think the Jets are going to win this game because I think that Todd Bowles defensively will have some ready, and I think they're just a little bit more structured, know what they want to do, where Miami is kind of just all over the place right now.
Especially in Ndamukong Suh, apparently.
Yeah,
they're saying he's freestyling,
freelancing, and that's not
just
surprising whatsoever.
No,
whatsoever. No. Giants plus 5.5 at the Bills. What do you like there?
I think Buffalo's for real. I don't know how you feel about them.
Yeah, I think Tyrod Taylor will see. The real test with him will be in the second half of the season, I think, when there's 8 games of tape on him and people can kind of see what he's doing. I think that they'll just be able to physically dominate this game. I do kind of like the Giants this year. I think their offense is going to be good, but not in a game like this where the Bills can just punish you up front, and then their secondary is good enough where they can cover you man to man and not have to sacrifice rushers for coverage. So I think the Bills will win by a touchdown here.
Yeah, I agree. I think in Buffalo they cover as well.
Okay. Raiders -3 at the Bears. This might be the first time where the Raiders are actually the more relevant team than the Bears, which is even saying a lot because they both stink. But
road favorite Oakland Raiders.
Yeah, and
favorite Oakland Raiders.
And I think that they cover that road favorite. I think so too. I think a pretty easy 10-14 point win for Oakland. Derek Carr is surprisingly really good.
It's been great. Last week, Latavius Murray, Amari Cooper, and Derek Carr combined for more yards than any quarterback, wide receiver, running back under 25 has in the history of the league in one game.
And that's incredible.
Like 3 or 4 times there's been 300-yard passer, 100-yard rusher, 100-yard receiver under 25 on a team.
And honestly, I'm not really that surprised.
No, me either.
Because those are 3 really talented guys.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's crazy that we're both easily on the Raiders as a road favorite.
I think 10 or 14 might be a little aggressive. I think maybe a touchdown, but I think they're.
I guess this will kind of see where they're at because this is a game that they should win.
Yeah.
And we'll see if they come out to play.
Well, and it's another week of Jimmy Clausen too. Matt, nobody makes your defense look better than Jimmy Clausen.
I mean, the Raiders could try to lose, and they still might win this game with him behind center. So
I think the Maroons might be 3-point favorites in Chicago this weekend.
Okay. Jags +9 at the Colts. Luck didn't throw a lot at practice yesterday. I guess something with his shoulder. I think it sounds like they still think he'll play. The Colts. I don't even want to talk about the Colts again.
I do want to talk about the Colts in response to last week.
Okay, go ahead.
But, no, I don't have to talk much, but I think that Andrew Luck is like the Colts without Andrew Luck are the Jaguars. That's what I think. They're
worse than the Jaguars.
Yeah. And that Andrew Luck has been filling gaps on that team for years.
Did I not say that?
That's not how I remember it. Was it Woody that was on the other side of this?
No,
I just thought that you said that. Well, Andrew Luck was not playing well. That I will concede.
No, I think
last week he played okay.
Yeah, I think
a couple picks, a couple touchdowns late.
I pretty much said what you just said. I thought at least.
Yeah.
That I said they have 4 good football players on their team, and he's one of them.
Yeah. Yeah, I would agree with that.
Like they're I said Pagano should be fired. I said Grigson should be fired. Irsay should have to sell a team.
Well, see,
Um,
I think that's where the problems lie. I don't think Pagano is that bad, but he doesn't have any say over the personnel,
yeah,
and he's fighting so hard to get some decent players in there.
yeah.
After
Now
the game, after the game 2 weeks ago, somebody asked him about
the
Andrew Luck covering for the old line, and he said, "Well, Andrew's been doing that for years, so apparently he should be used to it."
yeah, which
You know?
people thought was a shot at Luck, and I agree with you. That was a direct shot at upstairs. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
and their Grigson has literally botched everything, and he's signing Pagano's washed up Miami players from the U, and Andre Johnson's done,
He might be cooked.
and Gore looks okay, but he definitely looks like he
Yeah.
lost a step or
Well,
two.
and the thing is, like, last year was you could see the beginning of the end for Frank Gore last
Yeah.
year. He had a really good season, but you could it's just like any other running back where like you get to a certain point and you just know that's
Father
not
time.
just can't happen anymore.
Yeah.
And I think that we have reached that point with Frank Gore.
Yeah, I would totally agree with that. So, what do you like? Colts, Jags +9. I think the Jags are improving, but I think the Colts being in Indy will win by 10.
Yeah, I still think they're going to cover
Yeah.
the Colts.
Yeah. Okay. So we're both on that. We'll touch some big games here and skip over some bad ones. Chiefs +4 at Bengals.
When does Cincinnati implode?
Yeah.
There's going to be a game. There's going to be a game here at some point where they're favored and they're at home and they lose by 3 touchdowns.
I don't think. Do you think this is?
I don't think this is that week, but it's going to happen.
Because I think the Chiefs are a worse version of the Bengals.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
I think the Chiefs' defense is pretty good, despite, Rodgers obviously lit him up, but Rodgers does that to everybody. But they held Manning in check for a majority of the Thursday night game. I think the defense is good. I think Charles is good. You got Macklin, Kelsey, Baby Gronk, Alex Smith. If he's your quarterback, Nick Foles is my quarterback, and that's infuriating. If Alex Smith is your quarterback, that has to be the most infuriating, frustrating 3 hours to watch every single week.
Well, and the thing is, he's right in that sweet spot of like, well, he's okay. He's just good enough to keep his job every week.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because you can't just make a change to somebody that you like. I don't even know who the Chiefs' backup quarterback is.
It was.
Oh, Chase Daniel. Is he still there?
Daniel? I don't know. He was.
I think it's probably Chase Daniel. But anyway, like he's good enough to not put in someone like that. Yeah. But he's not so good that he's going to actually win you a bunch of games.
No, he doesn't. Oh man, I don't. They were down 2-3 touchdowns Monday night, and he threw behind the sticks till the clock hit 0.
That's what he does.
Oh man, So, Andy Dalton is what he is. I think he's doing his yearly thing. I think the Bengals at home will cover the -4 and win by a touchdown.
I kind of don't. I think it'll be a 3-point game. I think Bengals win at home, but
it's close.
I would take Kansas City in the points.
Okay. All right. If you want to bet on Andy Reid and Alex Smith, then have fun handing your money over.
They'll get it down to 3 and then let time run out as they're trying to cross the 50.
It'll be 3rd and 7 and Alex Smith, or 4th and 7 down 3, and Alex Smith will throw a ball behind the line for a check down. Okay. Well, let's go to. I guess we'll go to the Packers game. Packers at Niners. Packers -9, making a trip out to the West Coast. What do you got?
Well, this might be my heart getting in the way, but like I don't think there's any chance the Packers win by less than they're covering. That's what I think.
Yeah.
If Kaepernick plays like he did last week, which he almost can't. He can't be that bad.
No.
But if he's near that bad, it's going to be like put in Scott Tolzien in the fourth quarter.
For the Packers, yeah.
If Kaepernick doesn't play well.
Might be by half.
Yeah.
And yeah. I think the Packers, yeah, I think even if Kaepernick plays okay, I think they're going to blow San Francisco out of the water. Not that I mean, this is it's kind of a narrative, if you believe in this stuff, but Rodgers going to San Fran, Cali boy. I don't know if that's any extra incentive for him, or if he even needs it. But I think realistically, the other day I was looking at the Patriots and the Packers schedule. There's a realistic chance we could be looking at both of those teams being undefeated for a very long time.
Yeah. Like for me, the big challenge for the Packers will be in Arizona. I think Arizona's probably –
Is it at Arizona?
That's in Arizona. And that is like – I think Arizona's the second best team in the NFC probably at this point.
Okay.
So that will be a hurdle, but it's definitely not something that I think is, I still think the Packers are going to win that game. And then Dallas at home, maybe. But who's coming to Lambeau and winning? That's like week 16 or something. So Romo and Dez should both be back.
Week 16, Packers more than likely, as it's looking right now, will have the division locked up by then. Cowboys could be battling for a playoff spot. We'll see. If they're undefeated, it'll be interesting to see how McCarthy handles.
That's also 12 weeks from now. They could lose in San Francisco Sunday. That wouldn't be.
Yeah. But really, I think, and I looked at the Patriots schedule, they have at the Jets, which I think is going to be a harder game than people think. And then they play at Denver, I believe. But that's like week 10 or 11. So I don't know if Manning's arm is going to be off by then.
He might not even have a right arm in week 10.
Yeah.
It is. We'll talk. I think we should touch on Denver a little later, but he is. Oh, he looks so bad.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, but
anyway, they have to play the Bills again too. The Patriots.
Yeah, well, that'll be in Foxborough. That'll be. Yeah. You can book that. I mean, Rex he's so Bill is in his head.
Yeah,
he's still talking about the Patriots game. It's 2 weeks later. I mean, no, he literally is. He brought it up yesterday in the press conference. Yeah, I mean, he's got negative infinity chance to beat Bill Belichick in New England. So that's that. So I figured we talk about the undefeated thing is realistic. I would not be overly surprised if it's possible 18-0, 18-0 Super Bowl.
God, how great would that be?
It would be, and especially being in Wisconsin, that would be the end all be all for the Rodgers. If Rodgers beats Brady or Brady beats Rodgers, the opposite is never going to hear the end of it.
Yeah.
So we'll move on. We'll talk about Manning right now. Actually, Vikings +7 at Denver. What do you like?
Well, this is kind of an interesting game to me. I don't know exactly how I should feel about the Vikings yet. Coming into the season, I thought they were going to be the second best team in the division. I still think that's true for sure. Mm-hmm. But that doesn't mean that they're good, because I think the Lions and Bears are both pretty bad. But and then coming into the season, they got smoked by San Francisco, who obviously isn't very good. But they beat the Chargers last week. They beat them up, by 3 touchdowns or whatever it ended up being. So they've been real up and down, and I guess maybe now they're settled in. And I'm telling you, man, Peyton Manning just looks atrocious. He's getting away with it. He's winning games, especially he's put together a couple of just magic fourth quarter drives to win ball games. But that rag arm is eventually gonna he's gonna throw 3 or 4 picks in one of these games, and it's gonna really cost him.
Yeah. So what do you think? Do you think Vikings cover the +7?
Yeah, I do. I think they will. Maybe Manning will have another one of those drives where he throws 80 yards worth of passes to Demaryius Thomas that just manage to stay in the air half a second longer than you think they will, and they'll win it. But I think Minnesota's gonna keep it within a touchdown here.
Okay. Yeah. Manning. he's got about 4 weeks left. When that calendar turns to November and it gets cold and he's screwed. Like there's no his ball isn't it's and the thing is he's literally getting by right now on just being smarter than everybody else and having a freak of a wide receiver and Emmanuel Sanders is pretty damn good too. So that defense is
but the thing is he's not even getting the defense is great. But he's not even getting away with it all. He's thrown more interceptions. He's had how many interceptions did the Chiefs drop against him early on in the season? The only times he's getting away with it is in the fourth quarter because his defense is carrying them.
Yeah.
And
they
might be able to carry that team to 11 wins. That defense is phenomenal.
Yeah, I haven't taken a look at their schedule, but there's not very many teams that can beat them realistically if Manning plays like he did even last week. I think that defense is that good. You look at nothing against Manning, obviously unreal career.
Yeah,
and whatnot.
He's a great quarterback.
But I mean, they have 0% chance of doing anything. None. When in the playoffs, 0.
Yeah, I don't think they can either. And the thing is, I've been talking all day about these teams that don't have guys behind their quarterback, and that's why they're struggling through it. Denver Brock Osweiler might be really good. I don't know. We haven't seen him.
Yeah, he might be.
But he's not Chase Daniel. I think he might be better than Peyton Manning at actually throwing the football at this point.
Oh, just throwing the football? He's probably
I'm not saying he's better than at running the offense, but at throwing the football, he is light years ahead of Manning right now.
He's been probably his whole career. Manning's whole
career. Yeah, but I mean that he obviously always had a big arm. Osweiler always had a big arm. And Manning never had a big arm. But even as far as accuracy and getting the guys the ball that they need to, if the decision making process was out of it.
Are you starting the start Brock Osweiler bandwagon right now, or what is this?
I think I might be. I think this could be jump on the Brock Osweiler train. Everybody get behind me here.
You're really calling.
I came into the season thinking Peyton Manning is cooked, and I haven't seen anything that's other than those couple of fourth quarter drives that makes me think otherwise.
There is a better chance of Tim Tebow walking into Denver.
It'll never happen.
Yeah, there's 0.0% chance that happening.
Barring a legitimate injury to Peyton Manning, they're not doing it.
No.
But I think they should.
Yeah, and I don't think they should. I think Osweiler. This is it for Manning. He's after this year. I don't see him even wanting to play.
Well, the thing is, they're 3-0 now. They're never gonna they're obviously not making any changes while they're winning games.
No,
but I think that they're gonna end up wishing they had by the end of this season.
Oh, I think
that Denver is gonna wish that Peyton Manning had just hung them up before the season started.
I think even Elway's made a couple kind of subtle comments where it was I don't know how we're going to actually make it somewhere with this guy behind center. So, that's interesting. Brock, okay, so you're the initiator of the Brock Osweiler.
Yeah, I'll send you a T-shirt.
Bandwagon should start. Okay. So, the last thing that I want to touch on, we went through most of the games. The Denver or the Seattle Detroit line for Monday night wasn't out for some reason either. I think that might have to do with Marshawn, but
I have it at 10. I have it at Seattle by 10.
10
on it.
Quickly, quickly. I guess. What do you think?
I think Seattle's covering 10.
Is it in Seattle?
At home? Yeah, at home against the Lions.
Yeah, I'd probably agree with that. The Lions suck again.
Oh, they're bad.
And
they're back to being bad.
How did they? Did they win? Was it 10 or 11 games they won last year?
Yes, 10 or 11.
Yeah. I don't know how they won 10 or 11 games.
Well, they had two monsters in the middle that helped a lot, and they're both gone.
Yeah, that's true. And Haloti Nada looks washed as well.
Yeah, it's 100 years old.
Yeah.
And as much as Ndamukong Suh is temperamental, like if you put him in front of a guy, he's going to run that guy over.
Yeah.
So that helps a lot, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. So we're both on board with Seattle covering there. Last thing I want to touch on, and it's another, you and I both have the same thoughts on this. J.J. Watt has surpassed LeBron, Russell Wilson, and any other cliche maker as the most insufferable athlete with a mic in front of their face ever.
Absolutely. He not only with a mic in front of his face, but he'll go find a mic.
Yeah.
To pretend he doesn't want to be on the mic.
Yeah. And
you know.
Yeah, the latest thing with I might sound dumb because maybe it did air already, but from how he stated it, he's got an E60 profile coming up. So he posts something on Facebook or whatever, something saying, oh, yeah, you know, just some small town Wisconsin kid, you know, didn't know how to handle the fame, just knew how to work hard and play football. Here's my story.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't even think it's aired yet. And he's got the trailer for it in the link. And it's just – and then today he posts a picture on Twitter something or tweets something on Twitter saying, you know, happy birthday, Mom. Wish I could just be there with you to give you this hug. And it's a picture of him hugging her. And it's just it's gotten to the point where it's – actually, it's been at the point where it's too much. But, I mean – and then the Hard Knock stuff was – I almost vomited through 3 or 4 of the episodes.
I loved it.
Yeah.
Because that exposed to the world. I don't know if it was the Hard Knocks, the editors, the producers of Hard Knocks being on our team here and saying, man, you have got to see what J.J. Watt is like. You know, and they edited it in a way, too, especially that workout sequence with Remember the Name playing.
Yeah.
That's my favorite scene in television history because it exposed J.J. Watt as being – they're like – him singing along to Remember the Name and then launching a medicine ball over his head was the best. If they don't win an Emmy for editing that episode that way,
see, I thought
it's an outrage.
I thought the after practice solo.
Oh sure, they're hitting the sled.
I mean, hitting the sled. Then he's got the backwards hat. He's got the pads on, takes the pads off, chugs
the white gloves.
Yeah. Chugs the Gatorade, chucks it like he's Paul Bunyan or something.
Yeah.
Continues on the sled, then goes and starts catching balls one-handed for some unknown reason why he thinks that's necessary. Thanks to the ball boys for staying out there with him till the sun went down. Then I'm going to sit.
They're grinding too, Chuck.
Yeah,
I'm grinding too.
I'm going to sit and sign autograph with these morons who have sat here for 8 hours today to watch me. I'm going to finally get in the locker room at 10. I'm probably going to sleep in my locker, get up at 4, get a workout in. It's just
he literally has a bed at the facility.
Yeah. Oh yeah, where he takes naps. Yeah. He's got his guy that comes and wakes him up when it's time to grind again.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, if that was DeAndre Hopkins, that would be the most diva thing ever to have your own bed there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like that would be like people would be upset. But since it's J.J. Watt, they think it's just because he's so committed.
Yeah. And I mean the quote. Oh man, I could go. I mean the quotes where I work so hard. I'm always working. It's almost like a detrimental to me that I work too hard. Like that. Those words have come out of his mouth.
Yeah. I know the feeling.
We're
just J.J. Watt and I are just a couple of small town Wisconsin boys just trying to make good and grinding. One of us makes, several $1,000s a year. The other one makes, tens of millions. But I think that he's just so relatable, and that's why people like him.
Okay.
Yeah, I can't stand him. Oh, I can't stand him.
Yeah, I always thought it would be hard to top Russell Wilson as my most hated athlete over the past couple of years. He's blown by him.
Yeah.
He's blown by him.
Like Russell Wilson is at least he's just boring.
Yeah.
J.J. Watt is like actively irritating in how
everything just seems staged with him. It just
and it is. All of it is. You know what would be great though, is if like he got on the mic at some point during the season, was like, guys, I'm just kidding. Like I'm a human being. Nobody's like this. This has all been an act. He could be PFT commenter, where it's just a parody on all of it, and he's just.
If he's PFT commenter and just trolling us all, I hate him even more. I hate him even more.
I wouldn't. I'd buy his jersey. If he came out and said, no, of course this isn't how I feel, I'd buy his jersey the next day. That would be the best troll move of all time.
That guy doesn't deserve to be able to pull that prank.
Oh, I don't think he's capable of it. He's not. If he had half a brain in his head, he wouldn't be acting like this.
But if any athlete to pull off that, I would not want it to be him.
Yeah.
Like if some guy did that, I would find it to be the funniest thing ever. If it was anybody but him.
Yeah.
So.
And to anybody out there listening, this doesn't have anything to do with Chuck being a Michigan fan and me being a Minnesota fan. Just so we're clear on that.
No, I mean, yeah, I always get flack because my two most hated athletes are both Wisconsin guys. Three might be Frank Kaminsky. So I mean, yeah, and then four is Connor Cook. So I guess, or anybody who likes anything Michigan State. So yeah, I guess bias.
That's you, Jason.
Biased aside. That's that for this week. Good content, I think.
Yeah, always a pleasure, Charles.
Yeah, it's good to see you. I haven't seen you in a while. So keep your nose in the grind. Who do you got tonight with Menominee?
They play tomorrow against Escanaba. They're going to blow them out.
Okay, all right.
And then next week's Medford, they'll blow them out. I think Menominee's going to finish up 8-1 in the regular season.
Have they lost already?
No.
Okay.
DeWitt. They played DeWitt this year, and they pounded Kingsford. Okay. I assume everybody's tuned out by now for the Menominee beat writer talk.
Yeah.
You want to hear about the volleyball team? The girls' tennis team lost to Marinette yesterday, 5-3.
No.
Shouts to the Marines in that 5-3 win.
There we go.
First time in 8 years that the Marinette girls tennis team has beaten Menominee. So
I heard
props. Marines.
Yeah, I heard the Marines JV football team is going for that perfect season.
They're lighting it up.
Yeah, we're rolling.
And against some should be good competition. So they're scoring like 40 points a game. They're on the come up. Look out for my Marines.
Hey, when we're 4-0 in 2 years, you better believe I'll be back. You know, as that alum on the sideline.
You'll buy
the bandwagon. We're back on the bandwagon.
You'll buy a letter jacket.
Yeah.
Post. Yep. 4 years after graduation.
Throwing that flag around, that Marine flag, I'll find. So,
that's right.
All right. Thank you, everybody. I hope you guys enjoy a little bit more unnecessary banter probably in this one. But skip around, listen to what you like. Appreciate you guys watching and the feedback. Thank you very much. Steve, once again, thanks for joining me, and we'll see you guys later.